And three. What's going on, y'all? Back at it again with another special event. Now, it's not Friday just yet,
Mhm.
but we're gonna call this thing a Tie Thursday.
All right.
Um, because let's see, because we got your boy Ty in the building. Not just cash flow Ty, not just a real estate investor, not just a flipper, not just a wholesaler, but also Ty do the trucking as well. So Ty getting money from all different type of directions. You know what I'm saying? Ty
Yeah.
getting Ty getting money from all different types of ways. So, but we want to come to y'all, talk to y'all real quick, just about investing for success in this current market, and just seeing what's going on and like what it takes to get you a deal in this market, and maybe some things that might have changed from recent years. But what's going on, Ty, man? What's going on, dude?
Man, hey man, just been chilling, man. Just out here trying to, do more deals, man. So I had one that I think should have closed yesterday.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was like a, I guess kind of like a novation type deal
Oh, word.
situation. So I'll know Friday exactly how it really went, but yeah. So yeah, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
see,
definitely.
look,
Yeah,
Ty got the trucks rolling and he closing deals, dude.
yeah, man. So that's trying to
Yeah,
get to it, man.
for sure, dude. Jay said, "Thank y'all for the early live." Hey, man, we tried to hit it early. Byron's
Yeah,
gonna be out today. It's his anniversary. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's your anniversary. You gotta really take some time just to sit back and really, business is important. Closing deals is important, but that is a major accolade to be able to say you got time. You got some years in, some time in. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So,
definitely.
Ty, you've been married, man. How long have you been married, by the way?
I've been married 12 years. Yeah, 12 years.
Uh oh, I don't
I
put you.
hope I got that
I'm
right.
sorry,
Yeah,
Ty.
I got
Dang.
married. Yeah, I got married March 6th, 2012. So I
Yeah,
think that's,
time.
yeah,
Hey,
12
time
years. Yeah.
flying. It's
Yeah, I got
pushing.
married on my 26th birthday.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you doing it so that way you'll never miss the
I
anniversary.
never
You'll
missed
never
an
miss that.
anniversary. Yeah, yeah. I don't celebrate my birthday no more. Pretty much, it's like, oh yeah, my anniversary is yesterday. Yeah, it's also my birthday too. I forgot about that. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. See,
yeah,
like I said, that's a,
yeah,
that's a major accomplishment to have that
yeah,
time, man. So,
yeah.
but I, um, I'll say one thing. You mentioned that you got a deal. Tell me a little bit. It was like a novation, dude. What's going on with that
Yeah,
deal?
so the deal came through. One of the things, I don't know if it was lead. I think this was lead. Yeah, this lead was a lead. This was a lead Zolo deal. A lead Zolo lead. It
Yeah,
came through, and when we got it, it's like a house. You know how the houses come in? They be like, you see the Zestimate on it like 600,000 or something like that. So I was like, I know this is gonna
yeah,
be an issue. But there was during the time we had just did those. We had just did one of the calls with like Jake and Allison or whatever. So they were on that one. So I was like, send them, hey, you think you might have a buyer for this, something like that, or do a novation with this? I sent it to them. They
yeah,
called the people, and we ended up getting it locked up with the people. And we've been working it about 60 days, I think. And then they've been having issues with the seller and issues with the buyer. They've been going back and forth about little petty stuff like the refrigerator. And so it got to the point where, like, just to make the deal work, uh, just to make the deal work in the situation, I think that like we didn't really get what we was expecting to get. We end up like still able to do the deal, but I think we're gonna be able to get paid on the back end of they have a really good relationship with the realtor. So the realtor's gonna give us money on the back end of their cuts. And I don't know what that is. Somebody's like, how much? It's like, I don't know. I asked Jay, he's like, he don't know either. So hopefully I've been in a situation like this before where a realtor I had referred something to a realtor, and she gave us like some money on the back end. It was like 250, not 250,000, but $250. But hey, man, I was like, it's better than nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I took it.
yeah.
It was like took it. You know
Dude,
what I mean? But yeah, so yeah, man.
I I
But yeah, man.
done I did a deal, dude. I got like $300, but this wasn't even on no back end stuff. This was me putting all the leg work in, and I only
Yeah,
got like $350, dude. But hey, I was able to do it, and I was able
yeah,
to help a seller out and help an investor get to their next project. But yeah,
yeah,
man. Also, that's a good point too. Is sometimes the deals don't work out like structurally. Like my first deal that I ever did was not just a straightforward assignment wholesale. It
Yeah.
was, we got it on the contract actually directly with the seller,
Mhm.
with the buyer, because I knew the buyer. So we got it directly on the contract with them. And then they said, once we turn around and flip it, we'll get you on the back end. And I got my first deal, and it definitely came through because again, I had a relationship with the buyer. So there, when it comes to doing this business, there's like a number of different ways to get paid. Just keep that in mind, and don't
Mhm.
sleep on the deal because you can still get it worked out. You know what I mean? So we're gonna
Right.
see. We're gonna see. How that unfolds. I'm curious to get some updates on how that deal come along, bro.
Yeah, yeah, me
Uh,
too, man. I'm looking forward to it. So tomorrow, looking forward to getting more information on tomorrow. So that'll be something to like get more details and all that stuff. But I heard it's been like a crazy because I haven't had any action with the seller or the buyer, but I know
mhm.
they have, and it's been, I think last 2 months it's been like a huge headache. Just like he said, the buyer call screaming. She'll be cool 1 minute, and then call. I guess she'll think about what she just agreed to, and call back screaming. It's
Yeah.
crazy, man.
No, that's actually a really good point too, Ty. Because honestly, just to mention, um, what's up, Bobby Mack? Shout out to Bobby Mack. Jay said, Ty, you look 26, brother. Say you look
Hey, I
26.
appreciate it. I
Telling
appreciate it,
people
man.
black don't crack unless you're smoking. um, but yeah, man, that's actually a really good point. I'm actually at a point where I don't know. I mean, you gotta be wanting to do business with the people that you're gonna do business with, even the seller. Like real talk. I mean, if I feel like it's gonna be like a serious problem, if I feel like I honestly can't provide them with good service or good value based upon
Hmm.
their uh, you know, there comes a time. Grant Cardone say this: say yes to every opportunity, to every seller, to every lead, to every buyer, to every chance to get yourself in a position until you get to the point where you have to say no. And so I
Right.
think that there becomes a time. I'm still at the point where I'm saying yes, but I'm getting to a point where I'm like, I don't know, Mr. Seller, because I've had those difficult sellers where they just, for one reason or another, like um, they work against you. They work more against you than with you. And it's like, hey, Mr. Seller, I'm trying to help you. And then also to another thing, just taking full responsibility. I've been in those positions where I didn't properly articulate myself to the seller, and I didn't properly articulate my value that I was providing to the seller. And so therefore it was like they I could see how they were getting frustrated and they didn't understand what was going on because I wasn't able to let them know, hey, this is what we're doing. You know what I mean? This is our intentions. This is what we need to do. So that's why I'm big on setting the expectation up front from the very beginning. Changes
Right.
will come, and you kind of got to roll with the punches all the way throughout the entire deal until it becomes a closed transaction. Um, and let the seller know that. But for the most part, you want somebody who is understanding and who's willing to work with you. It's just like, listen, if you don't want to drink my coffee, you don't have to come sit in my coffee shop. If you don't want to eat my burger, don't come to my diner. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to. If this ain't what you want, I don't want to try to service somebody who doesn't want it. And so that's something that needs to be clear. And as you grow, the better you get at communicating yourself to these sellers. And actually, you got to deal with those headaches. You have to
Yeah.
deal with those so you learn. You learn by sticking with those, um, by getting a hold of those deals and those sellers and latching on and just riding. It's like riding a bull. It's like you up, down, you one way, this way, and you ride that bull until a closed product. Then you learn so much. You get stronger and you gain so much insight from sticking with it to the end. So it's interesting
Yeah.
you say that because you will, there's going to be a lot of those type of sellers
Yeah.
um,
Definitely.
in the process. But speaking of, you mentioned something. Speaking of how to invest for success in 2024, you mentioned something. How you got to that deal, where the lead came from, was PPL, right?
Yeah. PPL. Yep. That one was
And
PPL. That
something
was.
we, yeah.
Oh no, no, I was just saying. Yeah, that was PPL. I was all saying.
Uh, oh, Jay. Speaking of something that we noticed that right now, PPL is, I mean, for the most part, it's working. It brings you leads. You got to get enough leads, and you got to do it enough to get the right, the right deals. But they're coming. So Jade
Yeah.
says, should I give Mario or Wesley a call back today, or let them call us back another time? Cordero. Um, where do we leave off with Wesley? We'll hit them up. I'll let you know later on, Jay, when I get off of this. But Jay is talking about a deal that we're working in Florida, which came from PPL, and so which came from PPL, and so I think one thing I'm noticing in today, if you're trying to find a good investment opportunity, just a basic business principle in general is to make sure that you find a good deal. You have to be able to find a good deal so that way you're able to get a good investment opportunity that you could flip, or you could rent it out, or you can wholesale it, or you could novate. But the basis of that is the deal. So I think in order to be successful in this market is to find a good deal. And how to do that in any market is to get the right leads and the right amount of leads, right? That's one thing that I have been low key been sleeping on, honestly. Like Byron would tell me that a lot. And it wasn't until I realized this that things really changed for me. But you can judge the entire success of your business and the entire outcome and success of what you do by your lead flow. Your lead flow. It's just like ultimately, you might think, oh, that's just one facet of it. And you probably even get clever or more creative. Like, how do I get better leads? Or how do I go over here? Or man, it's like sometimes it's not about even just, yes, it's about better leads, so to speak. But sometimes the way to get to better leads is by getting more leads. So you need a lot of leads. The amount of if you have zero skills and you have no idea what you're doing, if you got more leads than I am getting, you're going to get a deal. If not faster, just as fast as I'm getting a deal, right? If you got more leads, it's just like, even we know Michael Jordan is one of the best of all time, arguably the best basketball player of all time. But if Michael Jordan got 5 free throws to hit and I got 500 free throws to hit, who gonna hit more? I'm gonna hit more free throws than him, than the best basketball player of all time. And I'm not a basketball dude. That's not what I do, right? But if you say, hey, put me in a ring with Floyd Mayweather, put me in a boxing ring with Floyd Mayweather, he can only throw 2 punches, because I feel like he might get me in 5. Real talk, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. He might know what to do with 5. He can only throw 2 punches, and I can throw 200 punches. It's just like he can only throw 1, 2, and then he can't throw no more punches from there. I might be able to do something with them 200. You know what I mean? And so that's just basic principles. So in order to be successful in today's market, you have to be generating leads, right? Quality leads, but just your lead flow needs to be coming in. So Ty, right now, what's one of your favorite ways to generate leads or try to get some leads coming in?
I mean, like I said, mainly the main thing I've been doing these last maybe couple months is just I had only been doing PPC stuff, but I'm getting back to like my roots, what I had started with like actually pulling lists in the counties, and like pulling lists like certain areas, pulling vacants lists, and just start like targeting more people. That's something like you said, Byron was talking about. Byron talking about it the other day, where he was like, if I have more leads coming in, more quality leads, and I'm doing more quality deals and have more going in the pipeline, then I got a steady flow of just more. And then it made me think about, I remember whenever he went to Keith Everett's event a couple years ago, the one thing that I remember he got out of it was, Keith was like, the reason I'm doing more deals than y'all because I'm contacting more people than y'all. And
Yeah.
then like Byron came home. Byron said he went to Best Buy, I think that night or something, got a laptop or something like that, and then immediately pulled like I think he said he spent like 7 grand on like lists of some people, and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
start hitting it, and then like I think he said that next month he did like a 60 or 70, or something like that. It was something like crazy. He's like, something crazy, and then from there, that's when them what the college started coming, and that's what they just that shift from just because he said at the time he had to make some money, but he was still operating like he was doing when he got started. Like, "Oh, I can't spend too much money on this because it's just like
yeah.
$1,500, $2,000 on a list. That's just crazy." And then he pulled that big list and started hitting on people, and it's like, because I'm hitting more people, it's like you got more opportunity, like you were saying. 500 shots versus 5 shots, you're gonna make more shots than he. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, out of 500. So yeah, definitely.
Without without question. And you just like point out a couple key important metrics there. It's just like he was just because when I start, I think I had joined Byron's like the mastermind group that he had at the time, and I got in it, and he was just opening up, just like showing us what he had going on, and I was just like, man, I think I had like 40,000. I think I had like 40,000 like overall like prospects that I could
Mm,
cold call,
yeah,
and I was like, I got 40,000. He had over a million. He had a
yeah,
million like
yeah.
different names and phone numbers that he had pulled, skip traced, and pulled that he can hit on
Yeah,
rotation. And
on
so
rotation.
that was like a basic metric of like, listen, look how many people I reached out to. And then now something that I pay attention to is like if I pull up my Podio and I pull up Byron's Podio, this is another thing that I looked at was um and I don't know if he's deleting, so I don't think he is. Uh, the Podio is where is your customer relations management. So wherever you're getting on PPL, you're cold calling, you're texting, you're doing mailers, you're driving for dollars, all of those leads should funnel into your CRM, into your Podio if you use Podio or whatever. So that way you can house all of your leads. You can contact them, leave notes, communicate with other people that are working the leads, set appointments, and set reminders. That's what the CRM does. That's why you put your leads in there. So I'm looking at all the leads I got, and I think at one point in time I had like 800. I had like 700. So between 7 and 800 leads. Byron had like 3,500 leads. And this had been over the course of so much time. So it's just like, it just goes to show basic principles and basic metrics of the business is like, you want to be successful, you got to be contacting more people. And it's going to show in your like breakdown. He's got a million more contacts that he's hitting that equal X like thousands more leads. And I was like, I got to get my leads up. The number of leads in my CRM needs to be higher. Right. And so since I noticed that, I immediately was just like, that's what we need to do. And now I'm over 1,000 now. And I'm like, dude, if there's no way, like, if that's just one measurable, there's no way that if I get my leads in my CRM and I go hunt and find and bring in quality leads, there's no way that I can't close more deals because that
Right.
at that point I'm making more shots, right? Um, Shayla says, "What is PPL? What is PPL, Ty? You know what PPL is?"
Yeah, it means pay per lead, which means you pretty much are paying for the lead. You're paying for leads that come in. So like example, like, for that lead I was talking about, that was a lead Zolo lead, which means it's most likely coming from YouTube. I mean somebody's gonna fill out some kind of form saying they want to sell it. Raise their hand, say, hey, I want to sell the house, and I had to pay for the lead, which was like 170, $180 or something like that. or
Yeah,
or you use need to sell my house. That's another one I've used. And like I said, you on that situation, you put in like a budget that you want to pay for a month. So let's say if our budget's $1,000 and I'm paying $75 per lead for that. You can bid on leads. So the lowest one is 75, but let's just say you do $100 per lead. That means if you do $100 per lead in that particular county that you choose, when somebody in that county wants to sell a house and it hits your bid around that time, like it's gonna take out $100. So you paid $100 for that lead. So you just on each lead, like Byron was saying. I remember Byron saying that every time he get a lead and there's some crazy stuff going on, they don't want to pick up the phone or they act like they got the wrong number. He like chasing on people down to get his money back or get his credit back because he feel like somebody done took his money. That's kind of how it is with pay per lead because you're paying for those leads that come in. Like you know, you're always paying for leads, whether you skip tracing or whatever. But in this situation, you physically somebody's raising their hand and saying, "Hey, I want to sell my house," and then you're paying for that from a certain service. So that's kind of the best
Yeah.
way I can kind of explain it. But I'm sure you probably got a better setup than I do on
I
that.
mean, definitely. I mean, that's PPL, like Ty says, it stands for pay per lead. And so, what this content, what it means in this context is it's talking about inbound online leads. Whereas you see what they do is on the internet, they put out ads. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can do this because you personally, Shayla, or Sheila, I sincerely hope I'm saying it correctly, Sheila. Um, but you personally can go on instead of going to a website or a platform, you can go create your own Google AdWords. Then that's what they call PPC, or what they tend to call PPC. It's pay per click, and I say Google AdWords, but there's so many different websites that have it. Like Facebook itself, you can create ads online on Facebook. Google, that's what Google AdWords is. And that's called PPC, which means pay per click. So that means you put an ad out there on these platforms that will run it and say, hey, you want to sell your house fast? Click here. And then every time somebody click, that website or that platform that you use, whether it's Google or Facebook, they'll charge you per click that you get, right? Because what they do is, it's called SEO, and that's another term you may hear. That's search engine optimization. That just basically means when you put your ad up on Google or Facebook or whatever, the studies and the data and the research and the market research that they do behind the people who use their platform, like on Facebook, they'll use that to your advantage. So that way you say, hey, I want to target to only people who only own homes. I want to target people in this age range in this area who own homes is here, right? And that's called search engine optimization. And the better you optimize it, or the better that platform is able to do that for you, that's what they charge PPC. That's what they charge per click. And they're saying, hey, we put out billions of dollars into creating this machine that all you got to do is create the ad, the fancy picture, and post it. And then every time somebody clicks, we're going to charge you X amount per dollar, right? But that comes with its own challenges, which we can talk about in another live. Its own challenges, its own learning curve, a lot of things that you have to do to understand how to do that right. Because you could just put an ad up there and it could go down the drain and people will click on it and it doesn't bring you back, yield you the results. So what PPL is a company who utilizes those PPC platforms like Google AdWords, Facebook, YouTube, their own website, just creating your own website and all of that. And they work on making sure that all of the ads, all of the marketing reaches the right people, says the right things to generate the leads to make people say, I do have a house that I want to sell as is. Let me click here. And instead of you paying per click, these companies, they generate these leads and you pay per lead. Like they'll do it for you. They'll do the search engine optimization for you. They'll make sure that they have the perfect ad in place that gets people's attention. They'll go through all of okay, we spent a lot of money on this ad and got nothing back, but this ad, we got something back. So we wasted that money over here, but we're going to put the money over. Like it's a whole process to figure out how to do your own PPC. So PPL is like buying the lead directly from a company that's like, we'll handle it for you. Just come right on in and just buy it. So it's just like, you know, your mama hit you with that. We got McDonald's at the house. It's like, yeah, but I got to do all the cooking. I got to do all of this. I got to do all of that. I got to, make the ground beef, season it. How about I just go to McDonald's and just buy the burger right from there, right? And that's kind of what a PPL situation is. And so when we say PPL, Sheila, we're talking in particular about online leads that are coming inbound. That's why I make the point of saying invest for success. That's going to make you a lot more successful in today's market, is because these are inbound leads. Yeah, if anybody know me, you know I'm still big on prospecting. I'm still big on, which means that's outbound. That's me reaching out to the sellers and buying just a list of a target area, and then we're gonna cold call it, we're gonna cold text it, or we're gonna door knock it, or whatever we're gonna do. That's reaching out to the seller and say, "Hey, Mr. Seller, I'm contacting you. Do you want to sell your house?" I still do that, and a lot of us still do that. But PPL is a strategy I think you should be able to add into your repertoire, because with the PPC campaign, you need thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars to do your split testing to get it to where you're like, okay, I feel like this is going to work. And then you need to have the know-how. With the PPL, you can buy a lead for $100. You can get access to the same benefits of creating your own campaign without having to create your own campaign and spend the tens of thousands of dollars, just by simply paying $75, on some ad, because you bid on some of the websites or whatever, or $100. Some websites you got to pay $200 per lead or whatever. You know what I mean? But you can get these inbound leads for $100 or a couple $100, and that couple $100 get you a qualified, motivated seller who reached inbound and contacted you. And that could make that could help change that person's life because you're helping them out of their situation. You can get your investor a brand new deal, and you can make yourself, 10K, 20K, 30K, 50K in between. So that's something to consider. Ty, what are some PPL services that you used? Which ones do you like the most, and how do they work?
Lead Zolo and Lead Zolo's one that we started using, and we also
Yeah,
started using Need to Sell My House at the same time. So both of those, I've gotten more leads. Probably gotten more leads with Need to Sell My House than I have Lead Zolo. I've gotten leads from both, but I think I get more from Need to Sell My House.
yeah,
Now I've probably gotten more quality leads from Lead Zolo, because Need to
yeah,
Sell My House, man. There's been situations where like we called the people and like, oh, you're not Open Door. I was trying to call Open. I was trying to contact Open Door. So it'd be crazy situation with those. But other than that, I mean, both are cool. Need to Sell My House. So like I said, like I said, you can get leads there. You can set a budget and you can set your bids at $75 and get leads as low as $75. Where Lead Zolo is going to be 180 per lead, no matter what. But yeah,
yeah.
both of them are cool. Those are two I haven't used. I know there's other ones I never got a chance to use those, like property. I think it's property leads,
Yeah.
and then what's some other one that Keith used to talk about? I forgot. But yeah, I haven't used those other
Mm.
ones.
I speed to
I
lead is
speed
one that
delete.
you.
Yeah, I haven't used that either. Yeah.
But the thing about I speed to lead, just a full disclaimer, not all of their leads are online leads. Some of their leads, like they'll cold call, they'll cold text, and then but they'll tell you where the lead came from or whatever. But um, Jay says, "Yo, can I keep my county set in Davidson, Hamilton, Knox, Murray, Montgomery, Rutherford counties for Tennessee, Tennessee, Sumner, Tennessee, Wilson, Tennessee, Wilson? I mean, come on, man. Sure. Yep. Those should all be down the middle. So just everything in Middle Tennessee for sure. Dude, you gotta get Bedford. Definitely get Bedford, brother. Bedford and Coffee. Bedford and Coffee County too. I would say add those. Davidson, Hamilton, Knox, Murray. I would even say take Knox out of it. I mean, Knoxville is cool, but take Knox out. And I'm only telling
So
Jay
is
this,
that a, is that because it's over? Oh, okay. I'm about to ask this because it's oversaturated, or what's up with that?
not just because I was telling Jay, we was talking about I just want to be in my strike zone. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Because we can obviously get a deal in Knox, and if it's a deal, it doesn't matter if it's oversaturated or not. If they bring us a deal, then we got a deal. It doesn't really matter. It's not like cold calling where it's just like we have to do more cold calling to get a deal, or more texting or more prospecting. With this, we just wait for them to come in to us. So regardless, it don't really matter if they get a lead, but it's because I'm trying to focus on Middle Tennessee because I know I
Hmm.
have investors, I have the infrastructure um, to get stuff off in our system to handle the volume in Middle Tennessee. So Knox is in Knox is in East Tennessee. So I would say remove Knox. All that other stuff looks good. and I would say add Bedford and Coffee County if you're brave. And I'm only telling Jade to do this, guys, because Jade and Jade's working with the team, and we're all working together. But I wouldn't advise anybody to just pick counties based upon what I say, because you might have your own strategic advantage in a given place. So you can determine where you want to pick. Property leads is pretty good.
Hey, can you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead. I was gonna ask you. I was gonna say, how important? Because you like, how important is it that, like you just said, that infrastructure? How important is it for somebody to have like to come up with a area? Like I know when I got started wholesaling,
Yeah.
I live here in Atlanta, but I'm from upstate South Carolina, so I started focusing there because like I had people have boots on the ground there. I knew the area really well. It was just kind of like my niche that at the time, and I knew like the whole thing is I was like, okay, I'm getting information and I'm learning this from someone who's here in Atlanta. Like I necessarily don't want to like that I was gonna step on their toes, but it was like I think it'd be more easy for me to take everything I can learn from them and just use it in my market. That way, it's kind of like I can then do the same, and it worked. And it's kind of like one of those things where I have a market, and I focused on South Carolina, where it's like this is my area, this is my market. I can easily have people go to the houses, take pictures of the home. I didn't have to go. I never had to get up and go nowhere. I can, hey, can you go over here to this house, take pictures for me, record this and that and the third. Had buyers there, so I kind of built like a system there.
Yeah.
How important is do you feel like that when someone's getting started, or how you feel as far as somebody trying to figure out where should they start wholesaling to have like those important things like those like you was talking about.
Like having that infrastructure in place. That's such a good question, because actually Jade and I were talking about that earlier. It's just like it's kind of, because honestly, it makes it. Are you kidding me? Hold on, I got a seller. Answer the seller call live here. Hello? Hello?
Hello, Carlo. Paul said we returning your call. I just woke up.
Hey, Paul.
How are you?
Hey, man, I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing today?
Oh, I didn't sleep for the past 2 days, nights of it, by
Yeah, man, I know you've
all
been.
messed up.
I know that having being sick, man, with your stomach. That's such a terrible thing to have to deal with, man. But um, I was one. Obviously, I was one to call you just to kind of give you an update where we're at. But I was really hoping that you was okay, because I know there's always something going on.
Yeah, I just finally fell asleep this afternoon around 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I just woke up. And I see that you had called.
Yeah, yeah, it's good that you got some rest, man. I sincerely hope I'll be right there with you, actually. Um,
That's good.
but I did want to ask, what I was wanting to check. Well, one thing is, is your wife, is her name on? And I'm pretty sure you let me know this already, but I had forgot. Is her name on the deed and everything like that?
No, not the deed, no.
Okay, it's on. Is it on the mortgage?
She's on the line with us. I don't remember if she signed on the mortgage or not, but did you sign anything for the mortgage when I refinanced, Laney? Hello?
Hello, Elaine.
Maybe I didn't get the freeway done right.
Uh-oh.
Oh, see, I know what I didn't do.
Hello?
Lady, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I don't remember when I refinanced. Did you sign anything on the mortgage with me?
No.
Okay, so no, it's just me then.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, I was just checking to make sure. And just so we can put it, because either way, if we do need your signature, Elaine, then the title company, they'll handle it and be able to add it retroactively.
Okay.
So just as an FYI, but I was letting Paul know. I mean, I think we could go ahead and what we want to do. The strategy we want to do is the listing strategy that we mentioned before, where we come in and we, get the property ready. We work on cleaning it out, getting the landscaping done, getting it prepared to list it, and then we list it, and then we agreed on a price point of, I believe it was 246. So that allows you all to walk away. So the mortgage is paid off at the 36,000, and then you guys walk away with the 210,000. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So that puts us at. So wait, the mortgage is is 36,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, 246. And so that's what we're wanting to do. And I wanted to go ahead and get the process started and send over the paperwork so that way we can go ahead and get the process started. But I had a couple questions for you though. We were wondering because we saw with the pictures, obviously you've got a lot of stuff in the home. You have been there for a while, and we'd want to. Yeah, you've been there for quite some time. I know that, but we'd want to go ahead and I guess start clearing it out just to make sure that way we can start the moving process and get it ready to show and get it cleaned up and stuff. Do you have an idea or a place where we can move everything to, or already? I know you're looking at some places. Is there a place that we can start moving the stuff to that you would prefer?
Not yet, Cordo. No. We're going to look at some stuff Saturday.
Yeah.
Again, this Saturday coming.
Yeah, no worries. I just wanted to check and see because I knew you had been looking, you and Elaine, so I didn't know if you already had. So I guess we can get, we'll get that figured out just to make sure that we get it, looking how it should and work around your schedule and everything like that. But what we did want to go ahead.
Will y'all be doing renovations while he's living there? And I'm sorry, I'm trying to think. Y'all be there doing stuff, working around him and all? Yeah.
So as far as like, we don't necessarily intend to, and we would if it comes down to that, just to make sure that we can deliver on the desired outcome. But as far as doing actual like renovations and just for the term's sake, we won't be like, renovating. What we want to do on the inside is just clean it up and, maybe if we're able to start the moving process. But either way, we'll get that worked out. But yeah, so what we will do though is we want to go ahead and pressure wash the outside and do some landscaping on the outside just to make sure the curb appeal looks nice and just getting the inside cleaned up. We would be able to do that while he's there, but all of these things should be just, simple day jobs that should take no more than a day to get them done. That's something that we can kind of get in the way and out the way pretty quickly, actually.
Right. Okay.
And then, we can kind of get the process started from there. But I wanted to see, and I don't know if we would be able to because it's a little bit later in the evening, which is no problem. But actually, my manager, he is. So my admin, she's out of the office now, but my manager today was actually his anniversary today. And so normally he'd be able to send over the agreement so we can all kind of go over it and make sure it looks right. But he's not in the office. Could we go over this tomorrow? Is there a time that we could all sit down and go over the paperwork tomorrow just to take a look at it?
Lady, what times you be available?
Well, I mean, I've got to work tomorrow. Will we be doing it all by phone
Yeah,
and sitting down, or?
we can, if that, if it's around your convenience, we can absolutely do it. Because what we would do is send over the email. We can go over it over the email, and Paul, you can even sign it through your email. So we can do everything by phone.
Right. Okay.
I mean,
Because, he's coming down to me tomorrow.
okay.
Down here in Noonan or Sonoy rather, and then we can be on the phone together,
Mhm.
and I guess do it
Yeah.
at that point.
Okay. That'll work. And what did you all have a time that'll work for you?
So I get them working at.
How long? I get off work at 4:30 tomorrow. How long will it take, you think?
Oh man, this shouldn't. I mean, just to go over it. So we have just a regular purchase and sale agreement, which is a one-page agreement, and then we have an extra document that allows us to go ahead and list it and get a little bit more access to the property. I mean, maybe like 15 minutes. This should be very, as far as getting the paperwork started, that should be very quickly. We can just go over it, make sure everything looks good, sign, finalize, and then we'd be getting the process started from there. So about like 15 minutes or so.
Probably around 5:30, 6 o'clock.
And then and then after that, you all can go on your dinner reservations and go out and party and have a good time like I know you guys are going to.
It's going to take her out to Red Lobster tomorrow night for dinner.
You said Red Lobster?
He wants to go to Red Lobster.
Hey, listen, I'm not saying that we would put this in the agreement, but if someone could find a way to get me some of those biscuits, you know what I mean?
Ain't they good?
Oh, goodness. I'm telling you now. See,
I'll bring them to you.
you just triggered me. You guys just triggered me. I'm trying to be careful now. It's the summer. I want to look good, but those biscuits do something, So, but
is there, this is a process that it's all unfamiliar to us.
yes.
And is there maybe somebody that has been through this that we could just talk to just to say, hey, everything is as it seems, and it's not that we don't trust everybody.
Right.
It's just, I just feel like it would be nice to talk to somebody that's actually been through it and, can just give us the comfort of knowing that, hey, it's okay. It's going to be all right on the other side. And it is what it seems. And this is how they operate, that sort of thing. A reference kind of.
Absolutely. And that's actually really a good point because, I would say, we don't usually offer this service to every property that we do. Normally we're just buying it straight out, but this allows us to do a little bit more. But we do have a couple people that we have done this with. And you know what? I think, looking back on it, I think they will be happy to let you know just kind of how it ended up working out, because everything did end up working out pretty well when we do this. And this actually allows us to get, I don't want to say better outcomes, because if we buy the property just outright, it's smooth even that way. And so we get pretty good outcomes either way. But this does allow what it allows us to do is to be able to offer more money. So what we kind of go through the process, and it puts more money in the person's pocket and allow them to actually do what they need to. So I believe we can definitely get you in contact. We'll just have to contact. We may even already have some testimonies, but we can definitely get you, just kind of let you know how to process. And obviously, just by the way, tomorrow when we talk a little bit more about it, we'll go over kind of the process and everything that you will need to expect. But you can definitely talk with, other people that have gone through this process. But just to let you know, we will need a little bit more, obviously more access to the property. We'll get those things done
Right.
probably about, I would say, 4 to 5, about 4 times a week. We would need to be able to have somebody come look at the property. And we would handle all of that. So that way you, Paul, are not having to worry about, okay, how do I set this up? How do I deal with it? We will handle it. They come look at it. And it just gets access to our prospective network, our investors, and even, some other potential buyers with their agents. And then from there, as soon as we kind of have everything locked in, we're going to the closing table, and it should be a very smooth process from there. Because again, we handle it on the front end when we start to get the property cleaned up for you all. But we'll talk a lot more about exactly what to expect, tomorrow once we go over it.
Okay. All right.
Sounds good.
But remind me again. So I know you mentioned you get off work at 4:30, but you said tomorrow around like 5 o'clock or 5:30. What was that?
Yes, that'd be fine. Because I live right now, it don't take me 2 minutes to get from work to home.
Oh, that's a blessing.
Literally. I've never been able to do that before, so this has been nice.
Yeah.
But yes, we can talk. I get off right at 4:30. I mean, we're good to go by 5.
Okay, perfect. So you both will be together.
Yeah.
Okay. So Paul, what's your email address?
It's my first and last name at yahoo.com.
Okay, perfect.
Paul Freverly
Yeah.
at yahoo.com.
Yeah. Got it. Yahoo.com. Okay. So what we'll do is, like I said, tomorrow, I'll just reach out to you ahead of time tomorrow just to see if you guys are still available, or if those cheddar biscuits were calling you ahead of time. You know what I mean? But if you all are still available at that time, we'll go ahead and discuss everything, and then we'll be in your hair and out of your hair, so we can get the process started. Okay.
Sounds great.
Sounds good.
Okay. Paul, Elaine, thank you so much for giving me a call back. I really do appreciate it. But I'll talk to you tomorrow. But just let me know if anything comes up. Okay.
Okay, will do.
Okay. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
All
Thank
righty.
you.
Bye, Elaine. Bye.
Right, you have a blessed evening.
You too. Bye. Uh-oh. So, what you think? How you think I did?
Man. Hey, you did excellent. If anybody saw that, man, they need to go back and run that one back. That was like, I didn't think about like all that you built. You building that report, and then you heard that thing. They trying to go down to the red lobster, and you hit them with the cheddar biscuits, and it's like it's almost like they feel like y'all everybody's like together friends. Like that's my friend Cordero over there. Like make sure we give him a call. Like Then when she hit you with then it's the thing. I'm sure everybody was like, when she hit you with the kind of like she was trying to like figure out can there somebody we can talk to about this, and you like how you wind that in, man. That was it right there. Like, man, it's like, ooh, a lot of us don't respect, like, a lot of us don't want that, and we don't respect it. And then she hits you with, cause that's gonna happen. Someone's gonna hit you with a question, and you're gonna have to kind of like do it off the dome of how to go about it. So that was perfect right there. Like perfect.
Yeah, dude, that's it. Yeah, absolutely. Because I had honestly, this is a PPL lead. Paul came into us about 2 or 3 weeks ago now. 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and he was just kind of setting the expectation and just talking to him. Something that I learned from doing this business for so long, and just my natural, just me, is like, these is real people. This is not a real estate business. This is a people business. So I'm off rip. I'm trying to connect with them on a real level. Like I've talked with Paul, and he's told me what's going on in his life. He shared things with me. I've shared things with him. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I just be real. And Byron said it like this. I think it was just yesterday. He put it in a good way. He's just like, when you talk to somebody, you can kind of tell when they let their hair down and they talking to you and they just like being real. It's just like, okay, we're not stuffy at work. I'm talking to you like a real person now. And I think what you got to realize, you got to give a little to get a little. So that's why I say it's just like, I'm giving him the real me. Like, that's the real me. Like, I couldn't be like, oh, hey, want to go to Red Lobster? Let me get some lobster. I don't eat meat or fish. You know what I'm saying? I'm a vegetarian. That wouldn't have been real. But I do those biscuits, boy. Ooh, those biscuits do get me. But I've been like them Cheddar Bay biscuits, boy, they get me. And so being real and being your true self and being genuine, don't think you got to switch it up. But I'm still showing them a level of competency, right? And that what came when she asked that question. I just think, honestly, that's so fair. And I don't see it like, oh, this person, I'm not seeing it like, oh, I'm just trying to get a deal. I'm just trying to get them to sign a contract and I scammed them. I'm thinking, I understand the situation because I didn't just talk numbers and property. I heard him out and I knew what he got going on. And I realized, I already know what's going to happen. If he doesn't go with us, there's either going to be some sort of buyer or company who's going to lowball him, chop him at the knees, and is going to pay less than we could offer him. Or he's going to try to list it himself with the real estate agent. And that's going, dude, we just had a seller say no to us, try to go list it. And now we just about to close on his property tomorrow because he had to come back. And now he's going to get less money because he has to pay the real estate agent when he could have just went to us directly. So I've legitimately seen people, I know what's going to happen next. So when I know this is the best value for them and I'm offering them the best actual solution to their problem. So in my mind, I'm just like, I want to help these people and I can. I have what they need. And so when they ask me a question like, well, I just want to know, I don't shy away from that. I believe that's a fair question. And that's what they need to feel confident moving forward. So that way I can better serve them. Because if I don't make them feel confident to move forward, I know that they're going to get a lot of trash out here. They're going to go out here and list with a real estate agent who doesn't care about them. And don't let people make you think just because somebody has a real estate license, they're somehow more ethical or they care more about the clients, when that's not true whatsoever. And if that were true, then there wouldn't be a huge lawsuit going on right now with the real estate company, right? And so how I handled that, because it's like if I throw a tennis ball and just bounce it and you got to catch it wherever it goes. You don't know what they're going to say. But I just make sure that I'm going into the conversation from the rip with the intention of, I have the best value for these people. They need my service. I genuinely want to service them. I genuinely know that he's got a situation. This man, Paul, has serious health complications. I'm talking about serious health complications. And so for him to have to list it, he can't do that on his own. And to be able to fix the property up and get it ready, it's just like, come on now. It's just like, we want to be able to provide them with the right value. So just feeling confident and trusting, like when they ask a question like that, don't be like, oh, here you go asking questions. And I don't know. It's like, no, it's like, I respect that. And I respect them as human beings. And I'm trying to meet them and service them. And so there's no question that they could ask you that throw you off if you got that in mind. Right. So
yeah.
Property leads is pretty good. Shalana says, what is PPL? I did just answer that question before you logged on here. And me and Ty went over that and pretty in depth, and not just what is PPL, but in context, what is PPL compared to like PPC and what all that means. So that's a good question. But if you go back, check it out, or you could just let me know. And we can go over it. But Anita, it's good to see. It's always good to see Anita, man. Anita been around since I was in the comment section, and I'm like seeing Anita, like, so it's good to see Anita. Cash. Is Deal Machine ideal? It depends on. See, Deal Machine is a Swiss Army knife, actually. Cash.
Yeah.
It does a couple of different things, right? It's not just if you want to drive for dollars. That's Deal Machine can get you there. And driving for dollars is not to be slept on, because Caritha made, I think, $1 bajillion or something crazy like that from driving for dollars. So Deal Machine is not to be slept on, because driving for dollars is not. But I actually use Deal Machine just as a lead pulling service, right? Because Deal Machine is the only thing that I see where you could you can pull the properties and have them skip trace right there, all in one place, all in one go, and for like $170 a month, right?
Yeah.
And so, dude, and you can pull 30,000, right?
Yeah.
One thing I learned, like the information is pretty accurate. Sometimes what I'll get is like it's not the homeowner, but it's like a tenant who lives there, or it's like the homeowner's like son or daughter or something like that, but they live at the property. But I mean, for the most part, it's still very good data, and I'm getting a lot of leads off of it. So it's something to keep in mind.
Yeah,
Depends
I
on
just snatched that up. I just snatched Deal Machine up myself like last week, and I'm loving it so far.
Yeah, man. And definitely because the information on there is pretty accurate, and you could filter out probably better on Deal Machine than I remember on PropStream. If I remember correctly, it's been a while since PropWire came out. I hadn't been using PropStream. It's just like,
Right. I was doing the same thing. PropStream to PropWire to Deal Machine. I was using the same way, using it like I was using PropStream, but it's much better. And like you said, everything's there. Cause I tested it out myself, and I was like, dang, they got my email address, my old phone, like my mom's number on this thing. So it's like, it's definitely, you know what I mean? All my properties and stuff like that. So yeah, man, it's pretty cool, man. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Check out Deal Machine, Cash. It depends on what you want to do. Are you driving for dollars? Are you just trying to pull, leads to prospect to them, to call them or text them or reach out to them? Either way, it's a pretty good machine. I think so. The information is relatively accurate, brother. Like pretty good for that price. Unbeatable, if you ask me. Yeah. But Jay says, to my point earlier, I wanted to keep my counties as narrow to you or buyer and strike zone to make the dispo process smoother. More deal flow will surely follow from simplicity. And that's perfect, because you basically asked me that question before Paul called me. Was just what's the compare and contrast to going wherever, or just keeping it in your strike zone where you got the infrastructure. And that's perfectly put, because if you want to ramp up, then it does just make it easier and a lot smoother process. You can set the expectation with the seller. You don't have to spend a whole lot of time comping, because you know the market. You know who you're going to dispo it to. You can find more buyers, but you already got some, and so on and so forth. Whereas opposed to going like nationwide or something like that, then you kind of got to scramble to find and make sure that you're meeting the needs of the seller, which is fine. We can do it. You can do that, especially if you're thinking 10X. You can do that because there are sellers who need your service and your value in other places. But I just think like more deal flow will surely follow from simplicity and efficiency. If you think about a machine and you want to just crank that thing up, I'm just going to go full blast. I'm just going to crank it up. I'm going to pour leads in here and spit deals out of there, or pour money in here and spit, more money out that way. It's better to have it simple. So absolutely, that's something to consider. Jay said that was cold, ice cold. Bro, the cheddar biscuit line had the hook, line, and sinker, dog. I've been talking with, like I said, I've been talking with them, and that's how you really try to talk to mostly all of the sellers and even the buyers and the clients that I work with. I really try to connect with them on a real level. That will make them feel, that's going to make them feel like, okay, this is a human being. This process isn't going to be all uptight and stuffy, and I'm not going to be intimidated by the process and things like that. So that's something to keep in mind. And honestly, based upon her question, I'm willing to bet like 8 or 9 times out of 10, she really just wants to meet somebody in person, not necessarily just talk to one of our past clients. Because I got a client right now I'm thinking about, dude, that dude we did in Texas, and I had meant to actually get a testimony from him explaining it, and I might still reach out to him for that purpose. But it's just like by the time we done, he was very grateful because we got him taken care of, and we did very good. Oh my goodness, like the value we offered him, and it wasn't even until we closed till I realized we offered him more value than I realized that we was offering him. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
But yeah, so I try to connect with people like that and just be a real person, and make them feel confident in me. I'm connecting with them, let my hair down, and just being a real person, but I'm also showing them competency. It's not all about jokes and not all just about talking and how was your day. You have to take the lead. You have to take the lead and show them, okay, I know what the next question is going to be, right? You may acknowledge what they said and laugh a little bit. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, okay. But I did also want to ask you about this because you're in charge of the conversation, because you're the professional. They don't know. They need your help, right? Can you explain how you use tonality and Socratic questions to engage with sellers? Yeah, so tonality, you want to use tonality. Mirroring tonality is the most important thing in connecting with them. I'm sure if you go back, you'll be able to get that from that call. But that's not even the first call that we had. But he answered the phone. Hey, Cordero. And I knew he's an older guy. He was a little, he's been dealing with health complication. And he was telling me the other day, he's particularly been kind of sick and upset stomach. And I was like, dude, I think we've all been there before. And so I didn't know. I had been trying to reach him all day. I didn't know if he was in the hospital, because there's been time where I called him. He was like, man, I was at the hospital. And that's why I didn't answer your phone. I'm like, dang. So if he calls and like, hey, Cordero, I'm not going to hey, what's going on? I'm not going to yell at him. You know what I mean? I'm going to meet him where he's at. Hey, I don't know if you're in a hospital bed right now. You got a crazy headache. I don't know what's going on. I'm grateful that you're giving me your time, your valuable time to call me and talk to me. So I'm going to meet you where you're at. Likewise, if the seller calls you like, hey, am I speaking with Ty? You don't want to be like, hey, meet his energy. He's giving you his valuable time. You need to, hey, Jade, how are you? How you doing today? Meet them. And that's tone wise. Meet his tone. The two things when we talk about mirroring tonality over the phone, because if you're meeting in person, that's a whole different conversation. We all know about body language, arms folded, arms not folded, touch in, tap in, so on and so forth. That's a whole different story. But when it's over the phone, the two things you want to consider: volume, how loud or quiet they're talking, volume, and speed, the tempo by which they're talking, right? So how, and also the more in depth, the better you get, the more in depth, because then it gets layers. Because then I'm like, we're in the South. Are they doing a heavy country accent or a light country accent? It's not even just speed and tempo, but there's pacing between their words. Like, for example, you could talk to a seller like this, and they could talk to you like this all day long. Some sellers, they talk a little bit slower and softer and smoother, but that doesn't define the pacing between their words. Some sellers, the space between each word is stretched out, and they talk like that just because that's how they talk. So, and people tend to listen to things the way that they give, they receive stuff the way that they give it. So the best you can do to meet them, especially at the top of the conversation, just to let them know that I'm here with you, and to connect with that tonality, it'll start working on the rapport, is to meet them, speed, tempo, the pacing between the words. If they got a country accent and you can do a country accent, if they got a New York accent, you can do a New York accent, so on and so forth. There's different languages spoke within the same language, right? Because we all know that New York English ain't the same as that. I'm talking about from down south. Hey, Ty got that Atlanta. Ty sound like he's from Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like from the heart, wherever little baby at. like they take the end of the word off. Like they won't say, "Oh, I had to go lock the door." They were like, "Lock the door. I'm gonna go lock the
Not
door."
to know. Yeah, Atlanta.
And so
Yeah, they do.
even we're all speaking English, but it's different, you know, accents, cadences, and everything like that. And so you want to be speaking that person's language when they get on the phone. That's kind of what you want to do with the tonality. And the simple way to do it as you're building, you don't want to start too complex or you're going to sound foolish, is speed, how fast or slow they're talking, match that, and then volume, if they're loud or low. But I think if you just have an empathetic mindset and understand, like, hey, I just want to connect with this person. And if they get on the phone, if somebody answered the phone and was just like, I'm sorry, Ty, I'm at the hospital. I think naturally, if you got a heart, you would be like, oh, I'm sorry. You would bring you would bring your voice down, and you might even crouch down, get in the phone. I'm sorry. Is everything okay? Right. I think that's just a natural response. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And another thing he asked about is Socratic questions. Socratic questions are heavily open-ended questions that encourage the seller to talk more about themselves and their situation. I may have asked some Socratic questions in that conversation. So it'll be like the seller might say, so, I've been having a really rough time with the property. It was an investment property, and but the tenants moved out, and now I'm just looking to sell it. I may say something like, you were having a rough time with the property? That's a Socratic question, right? It basically mirrors what they said back to them. That's a way, you can mirror what they said back, but I only say enough that leads them to say, okay, yeah, I'm having a rough time with the property. The tenant was in there, terrible tenant, didn't pay, trashed the place, and had like 20 pit bulls in the, it was crazy. So yeah, man. And you said they trashed the place, and you could go on with that for a while because the purpose is to extract the information out of them. So that way, you know what they need and you can best service them. It's just like, we used to have this saying in sales where you don't want to be an order taker, but the more I grow, you kind of do, but you just got to really genuinely understand what that person needs. So if it's like you sit down at a restaurant and the first thing, the waiter doesn't be like, okay, here's your food. It's like, nah, they ask you what you want. And if it's a great, excellent waiter, they'll say, okay, do you want this? They might make some suggestions. Sorry, I'm getting over almost a cold earlier this week. But if it's a great, they'll maybe, hey, I'll go in, I'll order the veggie burger. They'll be like, okay, you want that regular bun or gluten-free bun or lettuce wrap? I'm like, I'll take a lettuce wrap because I like lettuce wrap, you know what I'm saying? Or just give me a regular bun or something like that. Okay, and do you have any other dietary restrictions that we like? They're a great one now is going to make sure that they don't bring me out something that does not work for me. They're going to make sure that they bring me out something that I need. And so they might even, I don't think they're going to go as depth as asking Socratic questions as a waiter, but they're going to ask a lot of questions so that they understand me, so they can bring me what I need, right? I'm sure we've all had that experience. But that's the point. That's the point of not just tonality, but mirroring tonality, and then asking those Socratic questions to engage the sellers because you want to encourage them to talk about themselves. You want to, right? And as you can say, I took liberties, and I was just like, so you guys can go. I understand their situation and their dynamic. That's why I was joking, but also I kind of understood that, they're probably, if he's going to see her, that is his wife, and she's been living in a different place. That's why they're wanting to sell the house so they can be in the same place now. So I'm like, if he's going to be going out of town to come see you, y'all going to go do something. You know what I mean? Y'all going to go chill. Y'all going to go out and have some good time, or maybe even just, rent a movie or watch some Netflix and ice cream and have dinner at the house or whatever. So that's something to think about. So absolutely. But Jay said, this is a novation deal you're working on. Yes, sir. It is we want to list it for them for sure. Yes, sir. Novation deal. But I'm running a little bit behind, man. I gotta run though, dude. Ty,
Hey,
we
I
gave
appreciate it, man.
we gave him a stretch, dude.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
But Ty, let them know where can they add you at?
At underscore cash flow Ty on anything. I mean, Instagram
Yeah,
probably best place to find me. Underscore cash flow Ty. So that's where you can find me, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
yeah, man. Hit him up, hit Ty up because he's definitely buying, and he's definitely got more deals and more motion in the Atlanta, in the Georgia area. So it's definitely a good person to connect with. We talked about that. You guys need
Yeah,
to
for
start
sure.
connecting with everybody, and everybody should know everybody. We should be able to get more and more deals off. So I appreciate everybody. Thank y'all so much for coming on. And we got the special guest Ty for today. We may see Ty back tomorrow.
Yeah. Y'all see me tomorrow. All right. Yeah, for sure.
All right, y'all.